Hutafuti kufanya kazi na mtu.
To education matters, barely 5 months to the grade 9 transition, Kenya's first CBC intake is hurtling towards a storm of confusion. Rule changes, policy U-turns and clashing directives have left parents, teachers and school heads in limbo. From shifting subject lists to controversial school rankings, empty classrooms and looming shortages of teachers and facilities, the January launch is not only shaping up to be a rocky rollout, but a high-stakes game of educational roulette. Anne Musungu with more details.
5 months before grade 9 learners join senior school, Kenya's first CBC intake is gripped with confusion. A flurry of rule changes on subjects, compulsory courses and school categories, leaving parents, teachers and heads guessing what January will truly bring in this education roller coaster. In its latest policy flip, the ministry has expanded senior school subjects from 7 to 10, reshuffled compulsory areas, and revived the spectre of high-stake exams. A circular dated August 8th by Principal Secretary for Basic Education Julius Bitok ordered that all learners will take 10 subjects in senior school. 4 will be compulsory and examinable: English, Kiswahili or Kenya Sign Language, mathematics and community service learning. 3 others, physical education, ICT skills and religious or pastoral instructions, will be compulsory but not tested. Beyond this, students will then choose 3 other examinable subjects from one of 3 pathways: STEM, art and sports science or social sciences. However, the inclusion of non-examinable subjects has sparked fears they'll be sidelined. But Kenya Institute of Curriculum Development CEO Charles Ongondo disclosed that talks are underway with the Exam Council to introduce some form of assessment to ensure these subjects still receive the attention they deserve. In this fresh twist, senior school subjects have been expanded after an earlier U-turn, making mathematics compulsory. Initially optional for non-STEM learners, maths was reinstated following public backlash, overturning March guidelines that had listed only English, Kiswahili, Kenya Sign Language, and community service learning and PE as mandatory.
So we are going to have math now as a compulsory subject, but the math that will be undertaken by the students taking the pathway of social sciences and arts and sports will not be pure maths.
But the subject shuffle is only one part of the crisis. A placement nightmare is brewing after nearly half of senior schools were completely snubbed in the national selection. Out of 9,750 schools designated to host senior schools, 5,000 had 0 applicants. Most of the ignored institutions are day schools, fueling fears of scramble for limited slots in top-tier schools.
To have a national conversation so that we ask ourselves, really, if there are more than 5,000 schools which have not been selected by any learner, what can we really do as a country so that we can be able to optimize resources?
Despite vows to scrap a list ranking, the ministry's new C1 to C4 model mirrors the old national to sub-county system. C1 schools will cherry-pick top sub-county students, while C4 remains mostly day schools, fueling fears for learners being placed in unwanted institution. A move critics call a mere name-changing masquerading as reform. Anne Musungu, KTN, Nairobi.
Well, that story leads us to a short commercial break, but